When I was a child, I remember moving from house to house. I don't think I stayed in any one house for more than a couple years. So, having long-lasting friends and relationships wasn't really a thing for me. I did, however, meet one guy, his name's John, who had a lasting relationship with, and we still know each other today. But my escape was always wildlife and animals. Me and John began to embark on finding those wildlife and animals at an early age. I remember telling myself I'd like to catch every species of animal possible here in Florida. So we did. We caught just about everything we could find. A lot of times we'd find the same stuff. Black racers, yellow rat snakes. But from time to time you'd find something exceptional. Something worth noting. Something you don't see all the time. I love Jack Hanna, Crocodile Hunter, Jeff Corwin, Discovery Channel. Those stations and those programs were the pioneers of my time. Those helped mold me into the person I am today. I remember when the first Tamagotchi and Gigapet came out. It was like, wow, you can have your own pet on your keychain at all times. And then they started to ban those things in school. And I feel as though people started to think that pets were just something you could keep in your pocket and you didn't actually have to take care of them. You just get a new life or start over. As I grew and aged, I noticed, with Crocodile Hunter passing away and ratings going down, Discovery Channel is showing mostly just speed and racing shows now and not really showing wildlife shows anymore. It wasn't until Planet Earth came out that I started noticing a few more wildlife shows coming out. However, that was short-lived. After Blue Planet and Planet Earth, I didn't see a whole lot of that stuff anymore. There wasn't really any one particular person like we used to have with the Crocodile Hunter who could just strike our interest at any given time into the amazing wildlife that was in his area. Or I'd notice amazing wildlife throughout the world, but they'd only show one or two animals, and the more and more I watched of these different nature shows, I noticed they were showing the same animals or very similar animals over and over. It was always the large apex predators that people wanted to see. But I feel like they missed a huge niche in that marketing. And every so often I'd see a show on Florida's wildlife, and that always struck my interest. It was always the same animals though, with just a different host. The times changed. People changed. The way people watch TV changed. People stopped watching these big Discovery Channel programs and actually started watching more and more YouTube. I found that there was better entertainment on YouTube than there was even on TV.
This is a caterpillar. I want to find out if it'll sting, and if it does sting, how bad is that sting? That's just a little common little ringneck snake. Go ahead and sell something and do the sting test. Might have just been pokes. He's biting me.
I turned 18. It was time to move out on my own. My father had taught me so much about plants and wildlife growing up. He always showed me how to plant trees, and that became one of my main passions, was trying to establish a garden and an ecosystem. But like I said, I turned 18 and I moved out on my own. I found out what the world was like and how hard it was actually to just make it in this world. So wildlife came second to me. It wasn't first anymore because I didn't have time. Whether I was living in an apartment or a house, I always had a garden, even if it was just in my windowsill. That's how I was able to escape from the harsh realities of the world and find my peace and tranquility. I would always dream of buying my own place and establishing an ecosystem in some rural area that had been devastated by agriculture or planted pines. But that took money, and you had to build your credit for that. So it's been a long time coming. I'm 32 years old now. That's been a dream of mine since I was a kid even. I remember talking with John about that dream, and we both agreed that just leaving nature to be would be the best thing for nature, but I think I can do better than that. All those dreams started to fall in place about a year ago. I was able to finally purchase my own piece of land, and looking back on it now, I've noticed how much times have changed. In order to get to the point where I could buy my own land, my main priority had to be money. I couldn't live my first dream until I took care of business first. So I worked hard, became a certified arborist. I got my college degree, and I started taking on small side jobs that I could do on my own, in my own time, selling on eBay, buying stuff to sell and resell on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. I decided I'd try, because I always learned that if you don't try, then you'll never know. So I did. I started a YouTube channel. I actually have 4 YouTube channels now and 3 that I'm actively trying to grow right now. My main YouTube channel's first video was actually on wildlife. I never thought that that would be anything successful, and it wasn't. It wasn't very successful. Forgot the basics of what I used to be interested in as a kid, embarking on wildlife. It wasn't just the wildlife that was interesting, it was the story behind it. The how do you get there? How did it get there? What is it? And that's around the time that I saw Brave Wilderness. And that guy, Coyote Peterson, he is an exceptional YouTuber. He really is. He's one of the only YouTube channels I subscribe to that I truly will watch just about every one of his videos. But we can't forget about the pioneers who built people like Coyote Peterson. And those are the Crocodile Hunters of the world and the Jeff Corwins and Discovery Channel. The work Coyote Peterson does and the work I'm doing go hand in hand. It's all about appreciating and understanding wildlife and trying to preserve and maintain nature and the ecosystems. Because when you're living in a world like we live in right now, cars going back and forth, doing a 9-to-5 job, living in cities, you have to have that escape to tranquility, that escape to the wilderness, that escape to where mankind came from. When I was a child, I remember my father finding a yellow rat snake in our birdhouse. He told me about the circle of life, and through time I learned about the balance of our ecosystems. Every day a new adventure, a new creature, shows like the Crocodile Hunter. It became my goal to catch every species of animal possible. Then YouTube came along and gave me a platform. Now I can share with my subscribers. Thanks for your support. It means a lot to me, the Florida Wildlife Guy.